Today we're painting this simple potted houseplant in watercolor. This is a really beginner-friendly project. We'll let the watercolor do most of the work by allowing different greens to blend together on the paper. I'll also show you a very simple way to add a little dimension to the leaves and the terracotta pot without adding lots of detail. So, let's get started. I'm starting with my drawing already transferred to the watercolor paper. The leaves are basically just simple heart shapes, so this is quite easy to draw yourself. But if you'd like a little help with the drawing, you'll find the link to the outline, along with my materials, in the description below. For the greens, I have olive green, undersea green, and perylene green on my palette, but please use whatever greens you already have. You definitely don't need these exact colors for this painting. Before I start painting, I'm gently lifting some of the pencil with a kneadable eraser. I'm using a size 4 round brush for this entire painting. You really don't need lots of different brushes for this one. I'll start this first leaf with a light, diluted wash of olive green. While the leaf is still wet, I'm dropping some undersea green around the edges and letting it softly blend into that lighter color. And then I'll add just a touch of my darkest green, perylene green, near the base of the leaf and in a few places around the edges. Now I'm going to continue painting the rest of the leaves in the same way. I start with a light green base and then drop darker greens into the wet paint. There's no need to control every little blend. Let the colors move and mix naturally on the paper. Try not to make every leaf exactly the same. Vary the greens a little and make some leaves lighter and some darker. Those small differences will make the plant look much more interesting. We'll also come back to the leaves later for one very simple finishing touch. Before painting this last leaf, I'm making sure the leaf next to it is completely dry because the two shapes touch. If the neighboring leaf is still damp, the paint can flow from one leaf into the other and create unwanted blooms or cauliflower edges. Now I can add the stems. Again, I'm starting with a light olive green. While that is still damp, I'm adding a little undersea green where the stem meets the leaf and along some of the edges where I imagine the shadows would naturally fall. You don't need much detail here. A little variation in the green is enough. Now I'm going to dry everything before moving on to the pot. For the pot, I'm adding yellow ochre and burnt sienna to my palette. Again, feel free to use similar earthy colors you already have. Indian red could work nicely here too. I'm wetting the front of the pot with clean water first. Then I'm adding yellow ochre around the center where I want to keep the pot lighter. Now I'm bringing burnt sienna in from the sides. Because the paper is wet, the colors can blend softly together and leave that lighter area in the middle. I'm going to dry this layer before adding more depth. Now I'm painting the back section of the pot with burnt sienna. I'll make this area slightly darker because it sits behind the plant and receives a little less light. And then another quick dry before continuing. Now I want to give the pot a little more dimension. With burnt sienna, I'm adding a shadow to help define the upper edge of the pot. I'm working wet on dry here, so after placing the color, I rinse my brush, remove most of the water on my cloth, and use the damp brush to soften the edge. Then I'm adding some burnt sienna underneath the thick rim of the pot and along the sides. And for a little more depth, I'm adding a touch of burnt umber right underneath the rim, where the shadow would be darkest. That small amount of darker color helps separate the rim from the rest of the pot and gives it a little more depth. I'll add a little burnt umber to the back section of the pot to deepen the shadow and give this area a bit more depth. Now that everything is dry, I'm coming back to the leaves for that simple finishing touch I mentioned earlier. I'm glazing a very light layer of green over just one side of each leaf. That creates a subtle shadow on one half and gives the impression that the leaf is gently folding along the center. Keep this layer transparent. We don't want to cover all those nice variations we created in the first wash. The last thing I'm going to add is the cast shadow underneath the pot. I'm using Moonglow, but you could use gray, indigo, or another neutral shadow color you already have. I'll start with a very light shadow and then add a little darker color right underneath the pot, where the shadow would naturally be strongest. I'm softening the outer edges so the shadow gradually disappears into the white paper. This leaf on the left is hanging so low that it almost touches the surface, so I'm adding a small shadow underneath it as well. And with that final little shadow, our painting is finished. I hope you enjoyed painting this simple houseplant with me. I'd love to see your painting, so feel free to share it on Facebook or YouTube community page or tag me on Instagram. Thanks for painting with me, and I'll see you in the next video.